Hello, I'm Jeff Bruette, and welcome to Professional Techniques for Deluxe Paint 3. In the next 60 minutes, we will be demonstrating a variety of tips and techniques to help you achieve truly professional results. While this video will be informative, it is not intended to be a replacement for your Deluxe Paint 3 manual. In addition, there are files included with Deluxe Paint 3 that we will be using in our demonstrations, so you may want to have them if you wish to follow along. Dan Silva of Electronic Arts created Deluxe Paint, a program that was easy to use with flexible tools that allowed you to paint freely and creatively. He improved many of its features with Deluxe Paint 2, and now with the release of Deluxe Paint 3, the age of professional PC animation has arrived. DPaint 3 combines the most powerful Amiga painting program with Cel Animation, more advanced tools, improved fonts, and new graphic modes. We are especially pleased to have Dan Silva joining us to contribute his unique insight. After you spend a little time with this video, try out the examples. You'll find that you can use DPaint 3 to create colorful graphics and animation in a fraction of the time it would take with any other program. Please make sure that you have some working familiarity with DPaint's basic menus and tools, because we plan to cover new techniques and updated tools in the coming hour. If you're familiar with Deluxe Paint, you should be able to follow along quite easily. If not, you may want to read a guided tour in your manual. Feel free to pause the tape at any point. Remember, the more you watch, read, and experiment, the more you will get out of Deluxe Paint 3. Whatever approach you take, welcome to the world of computer-generated art.
I got into computer graphics in not the most direct way. I actually started out in mechanical engineering. But when I was going to school, which was originally at Stanford, there wasn't any computer graphics department. Matter of fact, there wasn't anything called computer graphics that I had ever heard about. And I got into using computers in mechanical engineering to synthesize three-dimensional kinematic linkages, which sounds pretty complicated, but actually it involved many of the same concepts that you use in computer graphics. And when I started working at other jobs, like I worked out at NASA Ames doing scientific programming, I did everything I could to get my hands on equipment that I could create computer graphics with, because I just felt a real need to create some sort of tangible output. I wasn't into programming in the abstract.
While the Amiga has not changed in basic graphic capabilities since its release several years ago, many software products have. This is also the case with Deluxe Paint 3, with its support of overscan and half-bright modes. The extra half-bright mode is a new feature in Deluxe Paint. This painting mode is only available if you are using 64 colors. Let's change our screen format now. Choose Screen Format from the Picture menu. Choose 64 colors and click OK. Now the palette contains 64 colors. The first 32 colors are the same colors we had in low-res format. The second 32 colors are half the brightness of the first 32. The 64 color extra half-bright is special in that the first 32 colors in the palette can be changed to any of the Amiga's 4096 colors, whereas the second set of 32 colors in the palette will always be half the intensity of the first 32. They are not directly changeable. Note, not all Amiga 1000 computers support this mode. Let's look at how half-bright mode paints. Choose Load from the Picture menu and load the picture named Hall of Stars from the tutorial drawer in the low-res drawer of your art disk. When the requester asks if you want to change the screen format, click No. Now select the largest built-in brush and the dotted freehand tool. Choose H-Bright from the Mode menu. Scroll anywhere on the picture using the left mouse button. Notice when you paint with the left button in H-Bright mode, any colors in the first 32 of your palette are changed to their half-bright. Now scroll over your picture again, but use the right mouse button. Any areas of your picture using one of the first 32 colors of your palette are unaffected by your scrolling, but the areas using half-bright colors become lighter. Let's take a look at how we use half-bright in the Fill Type requester. First, we'll range the entire palette and click OK. Next, bring up the Fill Type requester by clicking on the right mouse button on any fillable tool, or use the keyboard equivalent of Shift F. Now, to see the ranged colors, select one of the gradient types. Notice how the entire 64 color palette is displayed? This is because the half-bright gadget is turned on. Turn it off to use just 32 of the 64 colors. Click OK to see the effect that this gives. Notice how the range is based on the first 32 colors? To use the half-bright colors, select one of the half-bright colors that is within the range. By having the half-bright turned off, we can access the standard 32 colors or the half-bright 32 colors, but not both simultaneously. Now let's go back to the Fill Type Requester and turn half-bright on. Now both standard and half-bright colors appear in the range. There is another half-bright gadget in the Fill Type Requester. It is called H-Bright, and when selected, any fills that are done appear to be shaded or highlighted areas. Half-Bright allows you to paint with 64 colors and is a great way to add shadows to your works. Overscan mode extends the drawing area to the edge of the screen. DPaint III now allows you to paint and animate in Overscan. If you select Overscan from the Screen Format Requester, you will be provided a larger canvas to paint on. If the toolbox or menu bar is displayed when in Overscan mode, the screen is shifted down and to the left to make sure that you can see the controls. To adjust the position of the screen, hold down the Control key and use the cursor keys. This saves the trouble of exiting the program to adjust the positioning with preferences. Overscan mode is most useful for creating professional videos or presentation slides. If used correctly, Half-Bright will be an invaluable element of your creative works.
One of the aspects of Deluxe Paint, which I sometimes feel that gets lost in the comparative feature list that you see and the flashy features aspects of program, to me is the way the user interface is designed. First of all, I went to great pains to come up with a control structure so that when you're drawing a curve or drawing a circle, you can still use the key commands to change the size or the color of the brush. As a matter of fact, the first version of Deluxe Paint that I got up going on the Amiga had no menus. I basically got the skeleton of the program going, and it was all keystrokes, and you could do anything. And the first paintings on that program were done by Avril Harrison, and as I recall, she did them without any menus, using the pick command to pick colors out of the screen, and it worked fine.
Text is frequently an important element in the creation of professional computer graphics. This function has been redesigned in DPaint III. One of the new features is the support of multicolored fonts. To use multicolored fonts, we will need to run the color text program before we run DPaint III. To do this, we simply double-click the color text icon that is on the DPaint III program disk. We see a message telling us the color text is active. Now that color text is running in the background, we can run DPaint III and have the necessary support for multicolored fonts. To enter the text mode, click the text icon with the left mouse button, or simply type T, the keyboard equivalent. This lets us type text using the current font. To select a different font, click on the text tool with the right mouse button to display the Choose Font Requester. To load a font from another drawer or disk, click in the Drawer Edit field and type the appropriate path name. In this case, we will type Art:"Fonts. In a moment, the fonts list from the Art disk appears in the Choose Font Requester. Your Art disk contains 2 colored fonts. Colored fonts require the color text program. Click the font named Cara Granite and click Show. This lets us preview a font before actually using it. To change point sizes, click on the arrows in the upper right corner. The bold, italic, and underline options don't usually look good on color fonts.